Hey everyone, I love when there's those weird halos of light around me. I know it's not necessarily great camera work, but I kind of enjoy the artsy side of the light. So in my classes this week, I've been talking about the inquiry of joy. And an inquiry is something that, a soul question, a soul type question, doesn't even have to be a soul question, but a question that you ask to the universe or God or, just an inquiry without even having an attachment to where it's going. And you open to, through your practices, you open to receiving the answer or seeing it reflected back to you in various ways, whether it's within your practice or when you take a step off your mat and out into the life off the mat. I don't like to say real world because it's all the real world no matter what we're doing. So this inquiry, how is joy? You could just ask, how is joy reflected in my life? And then you let it go. And there's something that happens when you do a practice with that, whether it's a meditation or your physical practice or a combination of both, because you're working with the energy in the body, opening to that and moving into the relaxation response. So you're changing brain waves, and when we change our brain waves into more of that relaxation, we don't necessarily get into theta brain waves during a physical practice, but possibly during your meditation, you become more receptive to expanded consciousness, and then through that expanded consciousness and receptivity, you will more clearly see how things are reflected back to you in life. So it just opens your eyes in different ways, and because you're allowing yourself and sort of setting that intention to be receptive to it. So it's always there, but you just become more aware of it because you made that inquiry. And so these are things to trust because a flow happens from that, the synchronicities of life reflected back to you. The more aware of it you become and accepting of it, the more of it you'll see, and your life just begins to flow in a manner of seeming miracles. And that's kind of a mindset, is to be open to the miracle and choose to see joy in all of life. And so joy being that marriage or that amalgamation of both ends of the spectrum, whether it's really far on each end, like the pain and the happiness, it could be way on each end, but you're able to kind of bring those two together and see the blossoming from that. And you see joy as part of the process of both. You take your experiences and then you see joy as the process. So joy as a choice, choosing to be joyful, choosing to be happiness. So these qualities, I think I read it in the 7 Spiritual Laws of Yoga by Deepak Chopra. He talks about these positive qualities existing as their own energy, right? So they're always there in existence. So just like the negative ones are always there. So you can imagine like you have this tree of qualities and you choose to pick, the positive quality. I mean, if you have a choice, why not pick joy or beauty or whatever, and just begin to see things through that lens versus, the struggle and the negativity. So, and through the practices of yoga and meditation, spiritual practices, it becomes easier because you feel that in your body. And so when you start to really feel things in your body as a sensation, or maybe your physical body is just feeling really good, and you gain that connection between mind and body because you're breathing, you're connecting breath and body, it just kind of happens naturally where you feel better, you feel vital, and so you choose differently. And it's kind of a carving away process. So if you're someone that's starting in kind of a darker place, it's okay. Just showing up is the hardest part, showing up for your practice, whether it's in a studio or even at home, just showing up for yourself and setting 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes aside to do the practices, whether you're just following your breath, you're reading a sacred text, or maybe you're just moving your body. it's the carving away, and little by little your body is going to start to respond, and then your mind will respond, and then it becomes a reflection in your life. So I just wanted to share a little bit about what I've been talking about in class this week, is joy as a choice. And it's very direct when you read like the yogic texts and what the yogis say, from way ancient past all the way to the present, is basically just like, you choose. Like, what are you going to choose, joy or misery? It seems pretty obvious, but a lot of the times we get kind of jaded or confused that we actually have a choice. So I always encourage you to choose joy. That's what we're all about here at Joy. That's been my purpose for the past 6 years. I mean, and even before that, but actual joy has been my exploration and purpose, and it's really been this wonderful unfolding process that I just love to share with everyone that comes to join me and all of us in this space. So anyway, enjoy joy and the exploration of it, and be kind to yourself. That's the most important thing, is be kind, be easy, be gentle. It doesn't mean be lazy, it just means be kind. If you feel like, you kind of misstep a little bit, forgive yourself immediately, or maybe just learn to be unapologetic, as long as you're not hurting anyone else. But when it comes to yourself and any kind of self-loathing, then you forgive yourself for being unkind, and then remember kindness first, and then start from there. First Yoga Sutra is yoga begins now. So every moment is a new beginning, and to live that way, like every moment is a new beginning, really just gives you fresh eyes, and again, that renewed opportunity to choose joy over and over and over again. Namaste.